In today's conversation, I want to explain to you how to build business credit with your DUNS number. The first thing you want to do is you want to get a DUNS number. Obviously, this makes sense. If you're trying to build business credit with a DUNS number, you need to have a DUNS number. So a DUNS number is actually a 9-digit number that actually is delivered by Dun & Bradstreet. And to actually get it, it's simple and free. You don't have to pay anything. Don't let anybody razzle-dazzle you, telling you, hey, listen, pay me something and I'll just get you a DUNS number. No, you just go to Dun & Bradstreet, the website, and basically everything is there. And so what you want to do is you want to choose the option that best fits your company. So you can say, I have a US-based business. I have a Canada-based business. I am an Apple developer. I'm a US. So you need to actually choose the section that really applies to your company. Very simple. But most people will choose, I have a US-based business. So that's step number one. Step number two, you want to fill out the information requested. So you have to put your name, your first name, last name. You have to give some info about your company. And you also have to talk about the year your business was created, all kinds of basic information. Okay, the primary business industry, the total number of full and part-time employees. We're talking about full-time and part-time employees because Dun & Bradstreet try to gather some kind of profile about your business to sort of give you, so under your DUNS number, everything will be under your DUNS number. So it's really important. By the way, before you even start everything, you want to actually look up your, you can actually use the DUNS number lookup tool to see if you already are in the Dun & Bradstreet database, because sometimes you might have duplicates. Maybe somebody in your company or yourself had already applied for this DUNS number and the DUNS number was issued and you probably forgot. So it's always important to use the DUNS number lookup tool to see if you already have something in the system. So step number one, choose the option that best fits your company. Very important. Step number two, fill out the requested information. Step number three, what will happen here is that during the checkout process, you will be asked whether you want to expedite your DUNS number request. This is not required or this is optional. Okay, there is no charge to receive a DUNS number. Normal processing can take up to 30 days. Now, if you want things a little faster, you can actually ask Dun & Bradstreet to expedite the whole thing for you. So you might have to pay something, but if you actually expedite the whole process, it will take less than 8 days. And step number four, you may be contacted by a representative of Dun & Bradstreet to validate your information because, see, they don't want people to actually play games on you by really providing your company's information. So they need to validate the data from you to make sure that the data was authenticated by you. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Sit tight. We are going to have a wonderful conversation today. So step number one, you need to get a DUNS number. Step number two, you need to establish business credit. So the whole thing here is that when we talk about establishing business credit, it's not just about you trying to, contacting net 30 vendors and asking for net 30 account or just applying for a business credit card or applying for a business loan or business line of credit. No, there is an entire process you need to follow if you are trying to build business credit with your DUNS number. So what you want to do first is I want to quickly explain to you what is the business credit file, because you need to understand something called business credit file if you're trying to build business credit with your DUNS number. So a business credit file can contain basic information about your company, as well as multiple business credit scores and ratings and payment history. So we're talking about your Paydex score, your Experian business credit score, your Equifax business credit score, your all kinds of business credit information. And it's important to understand that for you to actually to actually get in contact, to have a clear idea about your business credit file, you need to contact all the business credit bureaus. I'm talking about Dun & Bradstreet, I'm talking about Experian, and I'm talking about Equifax. If I were to talk about the prominent 3 business credit bureaus, you need to contact them and ask them if they have a file about your business. But if you want to start with establishing business credit, the first thing you have to do here is that you need to actually establish your company as a separate entity. Very important. You cannot build business credit with your DUNS number if you are a sole proprietorship. In other words, if your personal life is intertwined with your business life. No, you gotta clearly divorce those two operations. Your personal life should be one thing, and your business life should be another. So that's the first thing. You need to establish your business as a separate entity. So if you're able to do that, then what will happen here is that all business partners, all vendors, all customers will regard your business as an entity, as a separate entity. This is really important because, and I'll talk about this later on. There is something called EIN, which is sort of similar to DUNS number, and it's only issued to businesses and not individuals. So really, really important. So establish your business as a separate entity. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to build business credit with your DUNS number. So step number 2, you need to register for a DUNS number from Dun & Bradstreet. Now, you already got the number. So what will happen here is that step will be really, really fast because see, what will happen is a net 30 vendor will ask you for your DUNS number. Or, what we have seen in our experience is that lenders and business credit card issuers, they do not ask for a DUNS number. They ask for your EIN. They may ask for your EIN, but it's net 30 vendors, suppliers, all those sort of non-financial, I would say business partners who tend to ask for a DUNS number. Because when we talk about DUNS number, it's not just about your business credit. It's also about your business information in general. And your business information in general plays an important role when it comes to building business credit. You know why? Let's say you have a contract to sign. You have a new contract, right? And you are in discussions and all of a sudden, a vendor wants to have a clear idea about your business. Let's say, have you filed for bankruptcy in the past, or what is your standing when it comes to the state authorities? In other words, they might ask for a certificate of good standing to see, number one, that your business is legit, and number two, that you are in good standing with your state authorities. So those are elements that you can only get in a DUNS number that you will never get in an EIN, for instance. Okay, and so it's important to really pay attention to that. So step number 2, you want to get your DUNS number that you already have. Step number 3, you need to get an EIN. So you get the EIN from the IRS. Again, same thing here. When we talk about the EIN, we're speaking about something that nobody has to charge you for it. Don't let anybody, again, dazzle you, asking you for money to file for an EIN on your behalf, unless you yourself say, you know what, I don't have time, I don't have the resources, I don't have the expertise, I'm just going to delegate the whole thing to a third party, then it's fine. Because you have a lot of LLC services, such as Zen Business, such as Northwest Registered Agent, such as you have a lot of them, LegalZoom. They actually will charge you to file the EIN for you, but it is a service, okay? The whole process is free, but because they have the expertise, they can charge you to actually make things a little easier for you. But normally, you can do it yourself. You just need to go to the IRS website and apply for a free EIN. It's called EIN, Employer Identification. Sorry about this. Identification number. The next thing you want to do here is to open a bank account for your business. So if you're trying to really build business credit with your DUNS number, I just want to quickly remind you the steps here. You want to get a DUNS number, establish a business credit. So, getting an EIN, but you're really trying to have a clear idea about what's in your business credit file. You need to open a bank account for your business. What will happen here is that as you're trying to, when you go to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, PNC, Truist, and all those big banks, they will ask you for 2 things. They'll ask for your DUNS number. They will ask for your EIN, among other things. Okay. So the thing is that you are trying to, why should you have a business bank account and not just to continue to use your personal bank account? Well, you are trying to establish your business as a separate entity, right? We've already confirmed the fact that it is your will. It is your desire to establish your business as a separate entity, very separate from you as a person. So you want to really sort of make it more concrete. You need to go to the bank and have a business bank account. Now, even better, it's better to have also a business checking account and a business savings account. You want to have at least 1 or 2 business accounts because you are trying at the same time to establish a relationship with the bank. See, the whole thing is when we talk about business credit, one thing that a lot of folks don't talk about is that you need to establish a relationship with the bank, even if you're not going to use it for credit purposes. Sometimes it really helps a lot, especially when it comes to EIN lending. Or if you have bad credit, you can actually parlay your great relationship with the financial institution that you have to sort of get the credit you need anyway. as long as the other financial parts of your life and business life are great. So, and this applies also to your relationship with the credit unions. So you can open a bank account for your business. It could be a bank account at a regular bank, traditional bank, or at a credit union. Number 5, what you want to do is you want to start establishing a pattern of on-time payments. In other words, whoever gives you business credit, you want to pay them before the due date, whether it is a net 30 account, or a business credit card issuer, or a business lender, or a business, like if you get a business line of credit, whatever relationship you have that involves your business actually having a business credit relationship, you want to pay on time and all the time. We're talking about all the time. Never be late. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's conversation. The topic, we are having a conversation about how to build business credit with your DUNS number. The next thing you want to do here is to actually ask vendors to supply your payment history to Dun & Bradstreet. See, the thing is, if you're trying to build a business credit with your DUNS number, those vendors, they must actually report your business transactions, your payments, your borrowing, the amount you're borrowing, and your payment history. They need to report this to Dun & Bradstreet, and they have to do it systematically. The thing is that, unfortunately, some creditors, some banks, some credit unions, some net 30 vendors, they do not report the data systematically to Dun & Bradstreet. Now, if they don't report your data to the credit bureaus, especially Dun & Bradstreet, you're not going to be able to build business credit with the DUNS number. Okay, the data has to be reported. Now, there is a way to sort of bypass this reporting process, is by you reporting the data yourself. It's called self-reporting. It works. In other words, you have to contact the Dun & Bradstreet and say, listen, here is my relationship. I have 4 or 5 relationships with banks and net 30 accounts. And here are all the records, the payments. Every month I make those payments. But see, the thing is, this requires from you a certain level of granularity, a certain level of detail. You need to be able to provide all kinds of information to Dun & Bradstreet so that they can see your that you are for real, that you are genuine. So it's possible. But the easiest path is to contact those net 30 vendors and actually ask them to report the data for you. Now, why would you ask them? Because they do not have to do it automatically, because they're not getting anything away from it. They're not really getting anything from it. You know, when you are a net 30 vendor and you report data to Dun & Bradstreet, you are actually incurring additional cost, right? I mean, the only time they might actually have an incentive to report your information to Dun & Bradstreet is if you're playing games. If you're playing games, if you're not making payments, well, then they have an incentive, because they know that they might actually lose a lot of money, because if you default, they might lose a lot of cash. So they will report you systematically at that time. So you have to actually ask them. The next thing you want to do is you want to monitor your business credit scores and ratings. See, if you're trying to build business credit with your DUNS number, you have to make sure that you check all your the most prominent business credit scores: your Dun & Bradstreet, your Paydex score, your Experian business credit score, and your Equifax business credit score. And the thing here is that you need to actually do this all the time, because something were to happen. If let's say you are preparing to get a big loan, a big business loan, and there was a problem with your business credit score on one of them, and you didn't catch it earlier, you might actually suffer in terms of high APR, in terms of a very detrimental terms and conditions in the business loan transaction. So it's always important to monitor your business credit scores and ratings. The thing is that when we have a conversation about building business credit with your DUNS number, it's important to understand that your business is actually evolving in a specific industry or in an economic sector, right? I mean, everything is linked. You can't be like, I want to build business credit and then, things will happen automatically. No, there has to be like businesses that build strong business credit will actually have a pattern. Number one, the business owners. So business owners must actually have a certain discipline when it comes to credit in general. I'm talking about personal credit, but also business credit. I'm not saying if you have bad personal credit, you are going to have automatically bad business credit. No, but there is a pattern here. There is a pattern that actually talks about your budget. How do you manage revenue? How do you manage expenses? Okay, how do you manage your DTI, your debt to income ratio? Do you even care about it? Do you even know of something called a DTI? Those are elements that are really important. So to build business credit and to do so consistently over the long run, you need to be in a situation where you not only pay attention to your personal credit, to how you approach business credit in general, things of a budgetary nature, how you run your business in terms of revenue versus expenses, how you actually consider your relationships with the net 30 vendors, with business credit card issuers or business lenders in general. In other words, you have to be in a situation where you are making on-time payments. You got to make on-time payments. So if you want to build business credit, first of all, you have to make on-time payments. You need to make sure that you are seeing exactly what's really happening what's happening across the board. See, when we talk about business credit scores and ratings, it's not just the top three. You have to think about all the other business credit bureaus. For example, the SBFE, Small Business Financial Exchange. That also is important. Okay, and you need to have a pattern. You need to have a routine within your company where you're checking on what kind of reporting is being done on your behalf to the credit bureaus. What I'm trying to say is, if you have vendors who are not reporting data, you have to either, ask them to do it. If they don't do it, you have to self-report, or you have to change vendors. Because why would you go with the net 30 vendor that doesn't report data to the credit bureaus? There are so many net 30 vendors nowadays that report systematically. So it's just better to go with the vendor that reports, and you need that. Let's talk about, if you're trying to build business credit with your DUNS number, how long does it take for these things to happen, really? Because sometimes you see on YouTube people talk about, you can build business credit within 30 days, 60 days. Those titles are good. There are great clickbait titles, but you do not build business credit. If you're listening to me right now, please write it down. You will not build business credit within 30, 60, or 90 days. It doesn't happen. It will never happen. It takes time. Same thing for personal credit. It takes about 6 months to see a real pattern. So if you want to build your Paydex score to go above 80, it takes about 6 months for you to see something solid, to see something really solid in Dun & Bradstreet's record. So basically, when we talk about business credit, you build a business credit. First, forget about timing. Put more attention to the pattern, to the routine, to the discipline you got to have. In other words, do not spend on your business side. Do not spend more than you can afford to repay. Those are elements of a budgetary nature that will help you down the road. So we're talking about what? We're talking about you having a clear idea about how to make payments on accounts payable. So your vendors and all your bills, all your business bills every single month. You got to have that mindset of saying, you know what? If all my bills are due, let's say on the 28th of the month, I'm going to pay all my bills around the 25th. I don't care. I'm not waiting on D-Day to make the payments because something happened, stuff happens. Then I would have missed payments. No, I don't want that. That's number one. Number two, you're trying to have long-term relationships with your net 30 vendors and lenders. Like, you got to look at your creditors as partners for a long term. Like, you're not just getting a loan from them for like 36 months or 24 months and that's it. No, you are actually trying to cultivate a great relationship with those stakeholders over the long run. And while you're doing that, if you're trying to build business credit and you're trying to do it the right way, you got to pay attention to your personal credit too, because there is actually a strong correlation based on our research. We've seen that there is a strong correlation between business credit and personal credit. It doesn't matter if you are applying on an EIN only or without EIN. Lenders will always pay attention to what's going on in your personal life and sort of see there's a strong correlation with that thing with your business life. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I explained to you how to build business credit with your DUNS number. I just want to quickly recap here. So number one, you want to get a DUNS number, of course. Number two, you need to establish the business credit. And how do you do it? You have to first understand what's in your business credit file. You need to actually establish business credit by contacting the net 30 vendors that report. You have to get business credit cards, business loans, to make sure that all those lenders and credit card issuers are the one that report. You need to make sure that you are making on-time payments. And you need to always monitor your business credit scores across all business credit bureaus. Thank you so much for your attention. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.